Yana and I walked away from the meeting. I took a glance at my partner. She seemed to ooze with confidence in the meeting. I looked back ahead, so that was the instincts of a true alpha in the pack. Unfortunately, I had no such instincts, as I was supposed to be born to be a second-in-command, a beta. It was by a miracle that Yana felt attracted enough to ask me to be her mate, promoting me to the alpha rank with her.
So, what do you think of her becoming an ambassador?
Yana asked, her voice cheery. She was always more positive than I was when it came to these kinds of things. Maybe that was her alpha DNA as well. I was too analytical, looking at everything, always prepared to advise, as was my birth rank's purpose. I looked up at the night sky. Unfortunately, it was too cloudy to see the moon. I let out a gentle sigh and began to think about the human girl. She didn't seem to have much sense. Impulsive felt like the right word. Maybe that's what we needed, though. Someone who just pushes forward without a second thought. Less thinking and more action. In some ways, that is close to how our people work. Running forward with nothing but our instincts. Time will tell.
Of course you'd say that.
What do you mean?
Always saying an answer that is just vague enough it's impossible for you to be wrong. It's just very Kuro of you.
I let out an annoyed growl and opened the door for her. She stuck her tongue out at me and walked into the classroom. Human studies. I'm sure the humans had a different name for it, ending with some ology word. We made it simple so then all of our species could understand. As smart as I felt I was also self-aware enough that our species was the least intelligent of the three. We are the strongest, most ferocious, and lethal. Our intelligence is more practical rather than educational. I once heard day students talk about theories and a guy named Pythagorean, all to find how big a triangle was. That knowledge is useless to us. We need a straightforward, how do we reach our goal kind of learning. So we learn how humans interact, we learn how they greet one another, how they don't get into fights nearly as often as our people do.
Hello, Kuro.
I looked at the beta female of the pack, Kiki, an honorable werewolf who holds the traditions of our kind seriously. She moved her hair behind her ear. She had a soft smile as she looked away. I looked around at the classroom as Yana went to sit down. There are only about 5 werewolves here. The less of us there were, the less likely we would start large-scale fights over territory and even rank. They had to choose us very carefully to make sure that they didn't get too many of one rank.
How do you feel about the reason we're here?
Honestly, I don't even know if it'll work. Like Yana always says to me, humans are easily intimidated.
Do you not have any hope then?
I think we should just try our best.
Then our best you will get.
But I turned my head to look and saw something that made me internally growl. Kiki moving away, knowing that nothing good was going to happen. A young male, white hair, larger than me by a mile. He was born an alpha, but was forced down a rank because of my promotion as the alpha female calls the shots. His name was Bono. Lately he has been testing the waters of my patience. The rest of the pack must have noticed due to their backing away from the situation. Just in the slim chance a fight occurred. It was something I aimed to avoid. It would be very hard to fight and come out on top. However, I could smell the anticipation from the other pack members. They wanted a fight, not because they were bloodthirsty, but because there was a member of the pack trying to push against the hierarchy. That was unacceptable in our society. However, this wasn't a fight that could easily be won. Not yet, at least. I would use words this time. I looked at Yana, who just side-glanced at me, telling me to act. Her face showed annoyance and disdain as she had to listen to him talk.
God, it would be great if we could roam around a little more. Our people weren't meant to be caged like this. Hell, our people shouldn't even be here. We were meant to roam free. Isn't that right, Yana? Our rank would be leading packs from all over.
Yana sighed loudly and began reading whatever book she put in front of her. It wasn't her favorite activity. Anything to her was better than listening to Bono speak of werewolf pride, especially when he was doing something so shameful. This was most likely why Yana wasn't compatible with him and led to the process of my promotion. Yana liked to be the one leading a conversation. She liked poking the brain. Bono was loud, and there wasn't enough quiet between his words that would show that there could be thoughts. I walked over to him and leaned down. "Get out of my seat." I said it calmly. No need to go over the top aggressive yet. Though in all honesty, it would be smart just to knock him out of the seat and hold him down by his neck to show dominance. But unfortunately, similar to the moon being clouded over, my dominance is hidden. Yana was the authoritative one, not me. I was too quiet. Bono looked at me, his amber eyes glaring at mine. It was a normal intimidation tactic we used. It was both a move of dominance and a challenge. I remained unmoved and unimpressed.
What are you gonna do, Beta?
Get out of my seat. He was really pushing for a challenge, a fight. He knew he could overpower me. However, my strategy was simple. Show him that he is not a threat, and the mere shame of failing to intimidate should make him back down. At least for now. Eventually a fight would have to occur. Bono leaned forward, our faces mere inches from each other.
Make me, Beta.
Not anymore. He stayed there for a few moments more before Yana finally acknowledged his existence and turned towards him.
Your leader told you something. Either listen or face the consequences.
Like he'll do anything.
There's more than one of us who can decide what happens to you, Beta.
Bono got up and was about to say something, but I put a hand on his shoulder before he could. Choose your next words very carefully. Bono looked at me with such hatred and shrugged my hand off and went to the other side of the class. I let out a breath, releasing any tension I may have had in my body, and relaxed. Yana nodded her approval, and I sat next to her. She leaned in near my ear.
Oh, you did fantastic. Your voice didn't even tremble, darling.
I rubbed the back of my head, my face getting a little hot. The teacher, a human, finally walked into class. She was fairly calm for someone who was in a classroom full of monsters. The room was silent. This is a good sign. Werewolves only respond to their alphas when it comes to commands. We've designed a system when interacting with humans to show that we agree to the terms absolute silence. I'm sure in years to come this will change, but luckily the teacher has been used to this, and she nodded her head back to us.
Now everyone sit down and listen closely. We have gotten word that a student in the day classes has decided to move forward with the training to be an ambassador. The only rule I will share with you is that you will treat her with respect, as if she is part of the staff, and you will not try to intimidate her. Is that clear?
The rest of the lecture was about how to appropriately converse with someone professionally. With us joining the humans in society, there were some socializing techniques we needed to learn to be able to blend in more seamlessly. I wondered if we were still going to be traveling from woods to woods. Would we have specific territories for our people? As much as I hate the idea of being contained, it would be hopefully safer for us. We could defend ourselves against unwanted intruders aiming for violence. I looked out at the window, the clouds finally clearing enough to see the moon. I smiled a little and looked at Yana. This whole future thing was scary. This whole promotion thing is scary. I looked at Bono. This whole pack thing is scary. It was so much simpler when all I had to do was do what I was told and make sure no one made stupid decisions. Yana noticed me staring at her and smiled with a little wink. I let out a gentle sigh and tried to pay attention to the lecture, but honestly the only thing on my mind was how to figure out the Bono situation. Unfortunately, even as the teacher signaled the end of class, I still hadn't come up with a solution. Yana grabbed my hand and took us to our room.
What's on your mind?
Her voice was stern. Was it concerned? as she could tell I was okay. It was demanding an answer. Even before we were a mated pair, I knew better to go against this tone. Just trying to think if there's a way around the Bono problem without getting into a fight.
Why would you need to avoid a fight?
Never fight a war you know you will lose.
Oh, please, you will not lose to him.
In bouts of strength, he is stronger.
Well, have you come up with anything?
I was immediately left in silence. And knowing she was expecting some response, I just shrugged. No, I don't.
How about for now, we just relax? We don't have any study work we need to do, so just come join me on our mat and just enjoy the company.
Yana very seldom distracts from a problem within the pack, which told me only one thing. She already figured out that the only way to solve this problem was through a fight. I nodded my head and let her lead me again onto our mat that we laid on the floor for us. We refused to have beds like humans. We tried negotiating to let us sleep outside. However, the staff let us know kindly that our idea was stupid. She laid down first and gently pulled me into her embrace. Her breathing relaxed and slowed, just allowing me to be absorbed into the moment. She ran her hand through my hair.
You're still unsure about being an alpha, aren't you?
The question came out of nowhere and threw me off guard, but her movements were relaxing, so I couldn't exactly get out of her embrace. Yes.
When I claimed you, I promised you that I would never disvalue your views. I still hold true, even on this incorrect one. I want you to think about this. Yes, Bono was born in the Alpha rank, but does he have the ability to lead? No. Is he well liked? No. Does he hold any sort of reverence that he was born the rank he was? No. Let's look at you now. You were born a beta, made to be second in command. You have the smarts to advise and the swiftness to execute plans. You have respect for the pack, and the pack returns in kind. Even when approached with an offer, once explained to you that being my mate was the best for the pack, you accepted fully. Once I told you I loved you, you accepted fully. Once someone stepped within your territory, me, you stepped forward to put an end to it, even though I do outrank you. Kuro, you are not a beta. You are my partner and the alpha male of this pack. You are the one who promoted past birthright and put someone's birthright below yours. The pack respected you before, now they revere you. They're watching you. This situation with Bono is being used as a test to see how you react to competition. This will not be the only time someone tries to take what is yours. Hell, I am waiting for the day some poor soul tries to take you from me. But that test will come one day. Right now, it is yours.
I closed my eyes thinking about her words. As much as it did make me feel better, I still felt as if there was some mountain or something that I had to climb over. I wasn't made for this. I didn't know what I was doing. I just spent my time trying to make sure everyone wasn't doing something stupid. It's no different than what I did previously.
Just rest, my darling. For now, just forget about everything. Rank, the pack, Bono. It doesn't matter. All that matters is we're in this moment together. Dream of us running through trees and creeks. Dream of us owning our own territory for our pack to flourish. And of course, dream of our offspring growing and maybe even widening our territory generations after we're gone. Most importantly, dream of how much I love you and how much I cherish your partnership.
My breathing slowed as my body relaxed, my brain slowing down as my stress left me. My mate's body temperature warmed me on this mat. I felt myself drifting off. My dreams were exactly as requested. Yana and I running through trees, weaving in sporadic patterns through brush and trunks, leaping over seemingly random placed creeks and streams, smiling and racing like the young do. Next, we sat on top of a hill, watching our pack taking care of the area, making sure that any sort of perimeter was well covered. And Yana just kissed my cheek when the scene changed again. Final scene was our offspring, a boy and a girl. They were playing and chasing one another around while we, their parents, watched them carefully to make sure they stayed safe. Even though I was fast asleep, I could still feel the warmth of my Yana, making sure that I stayed safe from all worries. However, I would be lying if in the back of my mind, a part of me knew what needed to be done. I just didn't know if I could immediately trigger it without provocation. I snuggled into her embrace and let sleep fully take over me. I woke up at about midday to Yana snoring. She must have fallen asleep at a normal time for us. I smiled and kissed her forehead and petted her. As nerve-wracking as being one of the leaders of this pack was, I was so happy that I was the only one to see this side of Yana. I stood and stretched looking around. It always felt weird to walk around during the day with no tail swaying around and no ears on top of my head. The silence in the small dorm building that housed the pack felt nice. It is unsurprising that even though we have the instincts of hierarchy built into our DNA, we all are from different pack origins and every pack has their own rules. Some are more free will, others are more strict and overly orderly. I came from a pack where you had to be a bit more tactful in your words, as you could be exiled if you insulted someone. It never happened often, and it was really hard to insult someone when everyone is taught to pick up the slack if someone was unable to work their usual 100%. Immediately thinking of the unity of a pack led my thoughts back to where my present problems lie. Bono. Now the simplest response would be to just kick him out of the pack. But what good would that do in the long run? We would have to ask another pack to send another one of their betas, and then they have to try to assimilate to the rules that Yana has put for the pack. It was the simplest solution to my issue, but it would cause a problem that would take a bit more to fix. I walked down the halls of the dorm looking out the windows occasionally, seeing the day students walking around or sitting and reading. I wonder if that's what future generations of our people will be like. Just existing, not trying to figure out how to survive and hunt, just wandering and reading and studying. The idea sounded dissatisfying and boring, but it also seemed safer. However, if our history lessons teach us everything and our own experiences with the human race, they are capable of violence that not even my people could possibly come up with. I looked away from the scenery and continued my walk. I could hear the sounds of sleeping wolves, one in particular snoring, until I saw Bono at the end of the short hall. He saw me and began walking towards me. I could tell from the way he held his shoulders he was acting in aggression. I stood up straighter and also set my shoulders firm. My eyes never leave his as I stepped to him.
Just the person I wanted to talk to.
He was moving his body back and forth, left and right. I just made sure to keep my eyes on him the entire time, never once looking away. What do you want?
You know damn well what I want.
His voice was getting more aggressive and louder. I didn't dare look around to see if anyone had woken up. Your pack is trying to rest, Bono. You need to respect that. I was doing my best to remain calm in this scenario. No need to escalate an already hostile situation.
Right now, I ain't worried about them. And you should be worried about what I'm gonna do. I want what is mine. Yana, the pack, your position. You took everything that is mine by birthright.
Bono, you weren't claimed by the Alpha. Bono, you weren't claimed by the Alpha female. You have no position. You know our rules, our way of life. Do not come in here assuming I will just lay down and let you into my room with Yana.
You do know then I can just take it from you like you did me.
You are delusional. How dare you threaten? Ugh! Before I could finish, he tried grabbing me and I took 2 steps back and growled. And now you take a cheap shot? Dishonorable.
I am willing to do anything, Beta. That's what makes me different from you.
Before I could say anything else, I heard footsteps behind me and put a hand on my shoulder. I saw from the corner of my eye Kiki come in. She had short gray hair and was just a little shorter than me.
Bono, you are pushing your luck. You need to end this now, or it could be a worse punishment.
Won't be any punishment if I remove him from his position.
You're a fool. Someone who can't see their own actions as detrimental towards their goals.
He stole my position by birthright! He was meant to be your mate! You should be right here beside me!
I understand how life works, Bono! Sometimes you just gotta roll with it!
Bono didn't even hear the girl and continued walking, and Kiki stepped in between us.
Bono, if you take one more step, I will fight back, understand?
I looked at the back of the head of Kiki. She was unwavering, waiting for Bono, who had stopped when she stepped in. So confident in the situation, it honestly made me feel ashamed. Here was someone who I was in charge of, standing in between a danger and me. A danger I was scared to deal with.
Really? What are you going to do against me?
He took a step and she charged forward. She was so quick I could barely notice her running. Bono, on the other hand, saw her coming and punched her to the side of the face, making her stumble and fall. I went wide-eyed seeing her fall and then charged forward. He threw another punch, but I caught it and kicked him in the knee, making him go down. I leaned in very close. You want to fight? Fine. Tonight after class, you better hope that I don't kill you. You will never lay a hand on a member of my pack. Understood?
Is that really all it took? Fine. Let's settle it tonight. Rest well, Beta.
He stood up and limped away to his room. I helped Kiki back to her feet. Her green eyes looked at mine.
Are you really going to fight him, Kuro?
Yes. Come on, let's get some ice. I hear that humans do it to bring down swelling. We went to the mess hall and gathered some ice into a cloth, wrapping them tight in there, and I put it on her cheek where the fist collided. Do you think he did any lasting damage?
No, just the bruises and swelling. My jaw and teeth feel fine.
Maybe he's not as strong as we think he is, eh? I did a little smile to help brighten the mood.
What happened?
I looked up to see Yana standing in the mess hall doorway. She looked at the cloth on Kiki's face. She marched toward us, her eyes getting angrier with every step. Neither of us were worried. We knew why she was angry. I'm taking care of it. Bono just went too far and lost control of his emotions for a moment.
How are you taking care of this?
I'm fighting him tonight. Yana was silent for a moment. She studied my face, leaning in close. He hit Kiki. That cannot be overlooked.
You should sleep then. Do you know what you're going to do when you win?
Banishment.
You could do that now.
I want to shame him before banishing.
Then go sleep. I'll take care of Kiki.
I stood and left, obeying my partner's advice. It didn't take me long to slumber, one trait that I've always been grateful for.
You're cute when you sleep.
I scratched the back of my head and left the room. It's time for class.
And your fight.
Don't sound so excited. We walked in silence until Kiki walked by us and stopped us.
The other pack members know and are already present. Kuro, I hope you win, but even if you don't, we won't allow him to be the alpha of the pack. Only you are.
I nodded my acceptance of the encouragement, but honestly, no matter what their decision is, if I lose, I do lose respect. The alpha male has just as much responsibility to protect the pack as any other member does. So if one can't protect against a threat, what good is he as an alpha? The three of us walked into the classroom to see the rest of the pack and even Bono there, his tail absolutely still. I looked at Yana and Kiki, and they went to sit down.
So, what are the terms of this fight?
You leave.
And if I win?
Then I step down and let the pack decide who they want as an alpha.
It'll be me. The strong always win.
Ah, so he's from one of those packs. Makes so much sense now. Although, it didn't matter at this moment. He lunged at me and I rolled out of the way, spearing forward, tackling him from the side into the wall. He brought an elbow down onto my head, but I growled and tried lifting him off the ground to get him to stop his defense. However, I had to let go to get away from the elbow. I stumbled back, my head hurting. Bono was already on the charge for another attack. He reached his hands out and I caught them with my own. Now both of us were at a stalemate with one another, both growling, trying to get control of the other. The rest of the pack was silent, letting the match play out with no distractions. He was beginning to get the upper hand as he was pushing down with his weight, making my legs shake under the pressure. I broke eye contact for a moment to look downwards and got an idea. I risked falling by lifting my legs and launching my foot into his groin. Instantly, he let go, walking back holding his crotch in pain. I took that time to run up and punch his jaw, knocking him backwards again. He growled, and before he could do anything, I hit him again, this time in the stomach, making him double over. I grabbed his head and started slamming against the wall until I saw his arm stiffen up, and I let go of him. He crumpled to the floor. I panted and walked away to my seat when the new ambassador walked in.
Jesus Christ! He told me that you guys would fight, but you literally clubbed his head against the wall!
Yes, ma'am.
Like, what purpose does this solve?
He went against the pack. Outside of here, going against the pack could prove fatal for the whole pack, so we fought to see who would lead.
So now what are we doing with him?
He leaves.
Wait, we can't just...
Before I could explain further, Yana stood up, her tail wagging slowly as she thought about what she was going to say.
Ma'am, with all due respect, if he stays here, it could prove harmful for him. He's seen as an outsider werewolf in our territory. That's not safe for him. We're giving mercy.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, okay. I'll, talk to the headmaster about this.
I looked at the rest of my pack. They too were standing, showing unity. No one is to touch the exile unless it's in self-defense. No other exceptions. I felt more confident. I sounded more confident. The reactions seemed more focused. Similar to when Yana would give an order. I refused to show my joy in the moment. This was not a moment to be happy. A pack member was just exiled. I walked and sat down in the seat nearest to Yana. She was smiling and put her hand around my back and kissed my cheek.
That's why I chose you. That's why they chose you. I'm proud of you. I love you.